touching on the top prop bets in the NBA today. All right, so you guys know that when there's a number that's too good to pass up on, I like to start off the videos with that bet just in case they take it away or just because it is most likely going to adjust throughout the day. So I just want to point this out. Jamal Murray over 18.5 points, okay? Now we can see just based off of this, 3 out of the last 5 times he did not get this over. Okay, so that'd be the worry, but I want to point this out. This number just adjusted when I started to do this video, okay? It was formerly set at 18.5, which is what PrizePicks had at. At that number, it was minus 140. Okay, so they're giving him over a 55% chance to hit that over. And now they're valuing him a little bit higher. So that to me is a big edge. Okay, whether you agree with it or not, that's up to you. But, you know, on paper, this is a big edge that we are getting. And, you know, in the last game out against Portland, he went off against them for 25 points. The previous game, 21 points. And now the game before that, he had one bad game. Okay. And the minutes weren't there. The game was a blowout. He shot the ball poorly. Okay. So I more or less contribute that game of him not doing well to 2 things. That was earlier on in the season when he was coming back from injury, and he just wasn't a consistent producer at that point. But we can see he's clearly went off against this team since then. In theory, this should be a bet that pays off more times than it doesn't. But I wanted to start the video out with that one because, well, it is a number that most likely is going to adjust throughout the day. So I typically like to start off with that. And just looking at it, yeah, there's a little bit of blowout risk there, but not too much. And that is supposed to be a high-scoring game. So chances are that he is going to be part of the reason why that is a high-scoring game, okay? So now the next game I want to talk about is going to be this Brooklyn versus Spurs game. Because if Vegas is saying, hey, this is going to be a close scoring game, then the way the prize picks are set up for today are going to be too low. Like, these are going to be some good options for us. So we already know that Kevin Durant is going to be out in this game. Okay, that game, Brooklyn versus the Spurs. And with that, we see Kyrie Irving averages 28 points per 36. Okay, he averages about 5.2 assists and 5 rebounds. His fantasy production is about 44 fantasy points per 36 with him off the court. And he is more likely than not going to get over 36 minutes. The problem with Kyrie is that we don't really have a good way to go about attacking him just yet. It might just be the fantasy score. But if Vegas is saying that this is going to indeed be a higher scoring game and a close game, this is one in which would make some sense to go out and run some stacks with. We just got to figure out where. And so I kind of keep coming back to Claxton here, okay? We can see the last, couple of games been right around this point total. And I don't love the fact that we are kind of chasing the matchup, okay? Against OKC, that was a good matchup. He was able to get the over there. But if you look at what he's been able to do with Kevin Durant off the court, his per 36 average is 15 points, and he averages 11 rebounds as well. The question is he going to get around 36 minutes? Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we can see his minutes have basically been solidified at around 30 to 33. So, a little bit less than 36, but at the same time, a pretty strong minute output. I want to point out this last game between the Spurs and the Nets. It was a game that was a huge blowout. Okay, Claxton only played 20 minutes, but had 10 points in that game. So if you give him 10 more minutes, do you think he can get 4 more points, 2 more buckets? That's really up for you to decide. I do like the number there. I feel like there's a way in which we can attack Claxton somehow today. You could go rebounds on paper. That looks like the biggest edge. Okay, the one that it'd be the closest at, given the easier matchup, you would expect him to be able to get the over there. And then the last player for the Nets that I want to look at is going to be looking at Ben Simmons. So this number is kind of interesting to me here. The 15.5 rebounds and assists. We can see both his rebounds and assists are set at 7.5. Okay, so Ben Simmons with Kevin Durant off the court, and this is his per 36 average, once again, averages 9 rebounds and 9 assists. His issue is the minutes. The minutes have not been there. 26, 29, 34. Okay, that was nice. But really, the minutes have not been there, which is obviously going to be a big worry. But he is someone that has been highly productive. He could potentially get to a majority of that over with just assists or just rebounds. Okay, and then we just don't need that much from him. Okay, we can see the last few games it's been close to getting that over. Okay, given the nature of the game, of it being an easier scoring game, we can see in a limited minute workload, and obviously we would project him to get 4 more minutes or so, then you would expect him to be able to get the over. So I don't like chasing players in which we can't, accurately project them to get the consistent minutes that you need for them to produce. But at the same time, Ben Simmons over that rebound amount does look good. So, and then, if we are playing some Brooklyn players, we do want a chance to run it back with someone. I think Jakob Poeltl is probably the best one to run it back with. The minutes have been a little bit more predictable for the Spurs as of late-ish, I want to point out. There have been some games that have been more or less blowouts in which Poeltl wasn't able to get there. If Vegas is saying that this game stays close, then I kind of expect him to be able to get the over. Now, the last time out against Brooklyn, it was a blowout. He only played 20 minutes, only had 6 points, did have 11 rebounds as well. So maybe there's the potential that you could attack it that way. Maybe rebounds and points or something. Maybe just rebounds. But in theory, we can kind of just tell if the game stays close, if those minutes are there for him, he should get the over. And that's what that is predicated on. You are betting, and that's what this bet is. You are betting that this game stays close. If you play Poeltl, heck, if you play Ben Simmons, if you play Claxton, that's what you're betting on, is that the game won't be a blowout too fast. Now, the interesting one on today's slate is going to be Tre Jones as well. I don't know exactly what to do with him, but once again, if the game stays close, this number does seem too low as well. So Tre Jones currently favored to get the over there, and I love the fact that it's plus 100 to get the under. So that's really favoring him to get over 15.5 points. And we can see with Jones, like, he has been getting those minutes, over 30 minutes in about 6 straight. That is highly appealing. Last time out against Brooklyn, he also struggled, but had 6 points, not great. That was really his kind of like last bad game. So it's time for you guys to decide what to do with that. But that is another piece in which you could potentially stack this game. And so, guys, when I say a stack, I'm pretty much saying it's going to be a lower dollar amount than you typically would bet on the two bets, but you're chasing more upside. Okay, you're chasing the game script of that game. I do want to point out this number as well. Embiid over 31.5 points. Now, it's not pretty, okay, but we can see been very close to getting that over a few times now in those games that he hadn't. And he is currently valued at minus 140 to get the over. So they are basically saying he has a 58% chance to get that over. And we look at the last time that he played the Clippers, had 44 points in that game. So that is also encouraging. All signs are kind of pointing to Embiid being a pretty good bet. On top of that, the game is projected to stay close, so we don't have to worry about a blowout potential. I mean, it's always there in NBA, but in theory, this should be a spot in which we should be trying to attack. And just to point out with Ben Simmons for rebounds, kind of going back to that real quick, minus 135, pretty good odds there. Now, this would be a bet that you could potentially kind of do the other way. If you are worried about this game being a blowout, you could bet Tre Jones under rebounds. And I say that because currently, and I think this kind of goes hand in hand with maybe Ben Simmons, Tre Jones minus 140 to hit the under rebounds. And we can see Ben Simmons is over that by a pretty good margin. I don't know if that's why Kyrie as well is expected to get his over by a pretty good margin. Now, Kyrie's not available on PrizePicks, but I want to point that out. Like, this is a way in which you could attack that game in another way if you think that it could be a blowout. So if I was just going to do NBA bets for today, it would be these two. Jamal Murray over 18.5 points and Joel Embiid over 31.5 points. Now I'm going to give you guys a couple of NHL bets that stood out to me, and those were all the ones that we had available today. I was even looking at tennis for some good odds. Didn't get any. So let's get into NHL. So a decent one would be Cole Caulfield under 3.5 shots on goal. And I gave this out last time. You can see hasn't really been hitting. Okay, numbers wise though, minus 140 to hit the under. So either he's on like a hot streak and we should just stay away from this, and this is for you guys to decide, or Vegas is saying this dude is due to regress. Okay, it's really up to you guys. That was the best number out there for hockey that I could find that hasn't been adjusted yet. And then looking at Darnell Nurse, okay, his under is set at minus 135 for shots on goal. We can see there's only been one game in which he hasn't done that. Okay, he's been close twice, so that's the worry, but decent odds there as well. So as you guys know, I hate betting the under. I just do. I don't like doing it, but numbers wise, this is the best betting card that we are getting right now. Okay, as it sits this morning, looking at NBA and NHL. Obviously, the Taco Tuesday bets are going to come out, so maybe you place maybe the Jamal Murray bet with someone else, assuming that it's going to change eventually here on PrizePicks. And then once the Taco Tuesdays come in, we can go ahead and attack that. And we'll be coming out with another video for the Taco Tuesday segment that's really going to be chasing safety. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. But that's all I have for you guys for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Give a like and subscribe. That helps me continue to push more content out for you guys and hopefully help you guys, profit. That's all I have for you. Let's have a good day. And as always, let's keep cashing.